sound noises. Sabretooth, Sabretooth, Sabretooth. Much like Miles Morales and Miguel, much like Star-Lord and Rocket, Sabretooth is honestly going to struggle to shine and really make a name for himself when he's going to be immediately compared to Wolverine. Despite the fact that he's a villain, whereas Wolverine is a hero, they're both combat types, they're both males, they're both mutants, and they both have the exact same artifact, which should give you a huge hint into what the devs wanted us to do with Sabretooth. And if you take a look at his stats, he's got a staggeringly high defensive stat line and HP stat line, despite me having an obelisk on him that has none of those features, no artifact, an offensive ISO 8 set, and a mixture of offensive and defensive Uru, but nothing too crazy. So to say that he's PvP leaning is going to be an understatement. We're going to try to see if we can make him do something, anything in PvE. I'm a little bit worried that he can't, but let's look at his optionals first. So on his uniform, you got Light Sirius Luna, which is okay. It's definitely dated by now, but it's still her best uniform. Then you have Deadpool X-Force, which is gross because it's super old. Then you have Hulk, Fear Itself, which is very good. You have Makari, which is a bit old now, but still a decent uniform. And then you have Professor X Classic, which is also old. So I saw some people saying that his optionals were good. They're pretty shit, considering especially that this Professor X one is actually just a cosmetic upgrade. It wasn't even an actual upgrade for Professor X. So pretty yikes here. You've got multiple Paywall and Crystal Wall characters, and basically only Hulk is a good optional. Now for the rolls there, that's what I've got. I'm obviously going to reroll this one to HP if we go full PvP mode on him, but otherwise that's what we're working with here. And yes, I did forget. Yes, for all the memes, I completely forgot. I said this was his first uniform. It might as well be his first uniform, okay? Because this one, you know, didn't do a lot for him, and frankly, the game really passed him by quickly. Now, if you take a look at his skills, he's got some pretty nice animations. He's got very pretty animations, to be honest. He's like Morbius. Seriously? Like, look at this. It's Morbius. It's fucking Morbius, which is cool and all. The problem is that he doesn't have any cancelable skills. Like, well, he has like one cancelable skill. Okay, let's be real. One cancelable skill and not that many hits. That's really his issue. You can cancel 5 when he does the second dash, not the first one, which is brutal, because it means it really puts him on the edge of not being proc friendly. The recommended rotation is 3 delayed cancel 5 delayed cancel 4, and actually I delayed cancel 5 wrong there. You have to delay it even more. You have to do 5 and then 4. You can see you get the slashes there, but having that much of a delay probably means you're not going to proc properly. And then the rotation they want you to do with the 6th skill, and remember his 6th skill I believe has accumulation, is that they want you to do 3 cancel 5 delay for 6, which I think is pretty unrealistic. So yeah, if you were thinking of giving him a rage or bust for PvE, you would be absolutely right. However, I'm going to show you what he looks like with a mini rage proc. We do have his crit rate basically capped. It's soft cap. It's 58%, but then he gives himself 20 or 25% here with his with one of his frenzy buffs. Yeah, that 35% there. So you can actually soft cap for rage or for a mini rage proc that has crit rate. You can soft cap his crit rate at 40%. Remember how Spot, the character that's free, doesn't cost any crystals, doesn't have any uniform to buy, could do stage 39? Well, unfortunately, that's what we're comparing a Sabretooth here against, stage 39 of Null. You can't really go any higher without him just struggling tremendously, so there's not really any point in showcasing that. But let's see here. With the mini rage, you can see the damage is not bad when you pop the tier 3. Outside of the tier 3, though, he's certainly going to struggle. He actually hasn't even procced at all here. There we go, finally. You want to press the 2 pretty often when you can, not only for the buffs, but also so you can charge up his tier 3, because that's really where all the damage comes from. He's got a nice burst on the tier 3 for sure, but unfortunately, yeah, this is pretty bad. Not being proc friendly is certainly going to hurt him a lot. Oh, we got it off. We got it off. But, yeah. I mean, to say he was built for PvP is pretty obvious. We're trying to make it work here, but I think a mini rage would be... I don't know. I think it might just be a waste of an obelisk, to be honest with you. We didn't cancel 5. We canceled 5 too late there. That was a mistake. He just doesn't have enough damage, doesn't have enough hits. Like, just everything It's really unfortunate. His regular proc rotation, like his regular rotation is just so weak offensively. He needs a massive upgrade. There's just no reason to use him over so much better characters. So yeah, even with double support, like Spot is way better, right? Spot is way better. And this, you're talking about a Crystal Wall character, right? That also needs a uniform, and then probably needs a Mega Mythic uniform upgrade ticket, because you're certainly not going to, you know, buy his bios with even more crystals. So it's pretty embarrassing to see Sabretooth get obliterated so badly by Spot in PvP, or sorry, in PvE. And that's considering that Spot can also, like, he might have a chance for PvP, right? He has an iframe ignore counterattack with a 35% heal. Like, that's no joke, right? That's no joke. I know Sabretooth does have ignore iframe on his, which skill here? Oh, he doesn't have ignore iframe at all. Oh, goody. Oh, his second skill does have ignore. My bad. His second skill has ignore iframe. Yeah, so he does have ignore iframe. But yeah, it's a bit dicey. But anyways, so I don't think mini rage is gonna work. I think maybe a rage CTP could work. Again, it's pretty expensive. I'm gonna try this. It's only a 120 proc here. I don't want to give him something too crazy, but we're gonna try a 120 proc that I had. Where the hell did it go? There we go. And we're gonna see if I can make him proc and if it can make him do a little bit more damage. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's only a 120 proc. I know. It's all I could roll here with the time. And we want to just see if we can make it work. So I think we did land our proc that time, but 2 bars, dude. 2 bars is tragic. Okay, we're gonna proc here on the tier 3. Yeah, I mean, the tier 3 has a pretty nice proc when you land it. Okay, yeah. If you just delay his... You know what you can do, actually, with Sabretooth? You can just delay his first rotation. This is something that I don't talk about enough with characters like this. But you can absolutely do this for him, and you can sort of force him to be proc friendly. It can be kind of annoying to play, and it's certainly not a playstyle that everybody likes. But yeah, I'll show you guys what I mean here after we get through this. We haven't missed a proc yet. I mean, I don't think he's proc friendly, but I would certainly build him this way rather than making him like giving him a mini rage or some shit like that. If you really wanted to make him viable for PvE, I certainly would not give him a rage. That's the first proc we missed. And still, the damage is not bad. So yeah, that was way faster. That was way faster. So what I mean by missing his first proc and then trying to align everything else is because he has a lot of hits at the beginning, right? What you want to do, we're just going to show you, I'm going to show you a quick little demo for you Sabretooth fans, is you basically want to trigger his first rotation without using his main rotation. His main rotation skills are 3, 5, and 4, particularly 5 and 4, okay? So you want to trigger his proc without it, okay? So there we go. We triggered his proc. Now we're counting down 3, 2. Now we're going to start the next rotation early, but now it's going to be on time. And we didn't miss the second proc. And now our skill cooldowns are ahead, so we can then proc properly the second time. You see there? And so now you've sort of aligned things properly. You're going to have to redo this after every phase transition where there's a long delay. But essentially what you're doing is you're giving yourself a little bit of space at the beginning of the second rotation to accommodate for the hits that would otherwise trigger the proc at the beginning. You can still mess up. There you go. I procced by accident a little early. You can certainly still mess up, but for characters who are not initially very proc friendly, this is the way to sort of get around that. Is you basically just sacrifice your very first rotation, and then you start your next rotation just a little early, like a couple seconds early, and then by the time you're canceling 5 into 4 and you're getting all those hits lining up, the second increased basic damage will trigger. However, I don't really think PvE is Sabretooth's, like, I really don't think this is his cup of tea. I'm going to be real with you guys. I think it's PvP. Now, I'm not really sure about what PvP build to go ahead with him. He does have higher damage reduction than Wolverine does. I believe he has 40% damage reduction. Yeah. So I do think that a mighty regen, or a mighty authority, excuse me, could be quite nice with the steel. Now, this steel is a little bit low, so we're going to try to re-roll it here. But I'm going to give him a Mighty Authority. However, just like Wolverine, Sabretooth does not work in PvP. I repeat, he does not work in PvP without his artifact. It just does not work. He needs this, just like Magic, just like Wolverine does, just like Carnage does. They need the Immortality artifact. So I'm going to be sacrificing 230 of my tokens that I have had saved for a long time now. We're going to use up 230 here. I'm going to show you guys what this looks like. We're going to select Sabretooth's artifact. And bada bing, bada boom. That was about $100 that I had spent a while back just forked over here. And we're going to go ahead and equip this. It's rolled with the wrong instinct, but it does increase damage to enemies with pure evil, which is not bad. I do have a lot of reroll fodder, so we'll try a couple of rerolls here just to see if we can get a better setup here for him with maybe a matching instinct or something like that. Increases crit rate by 4%. We'll try one more time here. We'll use Scourge and Cruelty. No. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to spend... We'll try one more. I don't want to spend too many more re-rolling his because, I don't know, I might go for a 5 or a 6-star artifact in the future, and the game just locked up.
Okay, very cool.
And there we go. And it rolled bad again. Okay, it rolled the wrong instinct a third time here, but it did give me increased damage to enemies with leadership. That's really good because it'll make Sabretooth even better against speed heroes like Spider-Man in PvP. So, all right, wasn't able to roll the Mighty to 30%, so we're just a 20% Mighty Authority here. And again, I'm not sure why you would use Sabretooth over Wolverine, but let's see how he does in one-on-one action here. Let's see how the Mockery works. Let's see how the damage reduction works. He's taking a shitload of damage. Already triggered his artifact. Not doing any damage to Thanos. And I died. Okay. It also sucks this week because Spider-Man is banned from Vibranium, so you can't even test like against that kind of stuff. It's going to be really interesting to see here against Jean what he does. Obviously, it's a pretty tricky... I mean, I think he has a buff, actually. There's a red bar under his thing, which I think means that he's getting additional buffs from just not being used in PvP for so long. But yeah, he's still not good enough. This is pretty brutal. Yeah, upon further inspection, Sabretooth is among the buffed characters, which means he's getting 10% attack, defense, HP, and penetration. I think they really need to buff this dude. It's like embarrassing even by PvP standards. I guess he could be useful for Alliance Conquest. I guess that's about it. But yeah, I think for a Crystal Wall character, this is unacceptable. Like he just does nothing. He gets guard broken to hell and then he just flops over and dies. Like literally, what would a higher build do, right? Like I could give him a little bit more HP if I gave him Odin's blessings of heal. And I could get him a 6-star artifact to give him an extra 2 seconds of immortality. He would just die 2 seconds slower. He doesn't do enough damage to kill anything. Okay, my frustrations with the character aside, and my pleading with the devs to please buff him. Okay, besides that, and I genuinely think they should buff Sabretooth. Okay, for the damage side and for the defensive side, I think they should buff him. If he can't kill Ancient One, I think I'm gonna have a stroke. But besides that, I honestly think that given how weak offensively he is, like he's not going to get a kill here, right? I think you need to, if you want to seriously build your Sabretooth, then I think what you want to do, you still need the artifact. You know, there's no questions asked about that. You absolutely need the artifact at minimum at 4 stars there for the 5 seconds. But then I think given that he doesn't have enough damage, what you probably want to do is build him as a sort of suicide character where, you know, he's going to die quickly, he's going to trigger, but he's going to have that 5 to 7 seconds of immortality. And so you use that opportunity to just to get a couple of kills, right? To get 1 or 2 kills. So in that sense, or using that sort of strategy, what you probably want to do then is build him with like a Mighty Greed. Wow, he killed Wolverine. That's impressive. But you probably want to build him with like a Mighty Greed so that he has a bunch of damage, a bunch of, you know, a bunch of burst damage to get through opponents. Because clearly, adding, like, with a lot of damage reduction, adding even more seems like a really good idea. But clearly, clearly it doesn't matter, right? He doesn't do any damage. He doesn't have enough effects on his skills. he really only has the second skill that can do anything, but he gets CC'd so badly that he's basically at the mercy of opponents, and then he just dies. He just flops over and dies. Like, she chews through his HP with one skill, and then he just stands there like an idiot. And his second skill has no hits on it. It doesn't have enough hits. So his second skill, even though it's ignore iframe, it doesn't do anything, right? It doesn't have any market effect. If you have an iframe skill, an iframe ignore skill that's very long and has a lot of hits, like Wolverine's, then you can chew through an enemy while they're in iframe. But when you have a really short iframe ignore skill, it pops. If you don't get the kill, you're done, right? Think of Gore's iframe ignore skill, really long animation, right? If it's not a really long animation, like for example Adam Warlock's iframe ignore, then it has to have insanely high burst damage. And surprisingly, or unsurprisingly, I guess, Sabretooth's iframe ignore skill, his second skill, has very low burst damage. As you can see here, he's not even doing half of Thanos' bar, and he's getting off multiple second skill procs here. And the team that I'm fighting has no damage reduction whatsoever. So I think a defensive build for Sabretooth is a mistake, at least at first glance. I mean, if they buff his damage, it could be good. But right now, he just doesn't do enough damage, particularly with Beastly Bite. This just does not do enough damage. It's really embarrassing. That should be like 170% or something. I don't know. But I genuinely think this character is like dumpster material right now. There's just no reason to invest in him instead of just investing in Wolverine. You're going to get a much better investment for literally the same cost, because you take the crystals that you would have spent buying Sabretooth and you just buy the Jean Grey Deluxe pack to get Magneto, right? And then you just fly through that epic quest, and then you've got Wolverine. You've got basically 3 of the best characters in the game. You've got Wolverine for PvP, you've got Magneto for PvE, and you've got Jean Grey for both, instead of getting this tool shed. So yeah, I urge the devs to buff him, but if you must build him, hey, you could go with a delayed proc energy rotation, or you could go with a rage if you wanted to, if you just wanted to make it easy for yourself. Or if you're a masochist and you want to see him in PvP, I would say go with something like Agreed, at least for the time being, until more testing is done. I think Agreed could be a good option to just make him sort of like a trade character. Like, he'll kill one character and then he'll die, and you basically get to trade off, which is horrible against all of the revived characters because he really only trades for half a life. So yeah, Sabretooth, a character that was added to the game. Anyways, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of the video. Let me know what you think of Sabretooth. Thanks so much for watching. Smash the like button to help out the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.